everyone, welcome back to my channel HNE Life. My name is Dr. Cindy Wong and I'm a practicing GI pathologist. I started my faculty position at Stanford back in July 1st and it's been a few months since I started. Now is a good time to make a video about how I felt starting as a brand new pathology attending. To start everything off, so in full disclosure and honesty, because I think you guys watch my channel because I am always honest with you guys, I'll start off with talking about my salary, which for some odd reason seems like massive taboo to talk about when you are, I don't know, ever as an attending. I wish attendings would talk about salaries more often because honestly, as a resident, it'd been nice to know what a range of salary is. Like, yes, I know there's resources online that gives you averages for what a pathologist makes, but I can tell you they're quite inflated. My starting salary when I signed out my contract was $227,000. So the average pathologist, if you were to look on online resources that publishes on the average salary of all attendings, even then the average pathologist probably would be said to make in the $320,000 range. And if you notice, my salary is basically $100,000 less than the average salary. There is a few reasons for this. One is I am an academic pathologist. I do it because I get to subspecialize. I get to sign out just GI, which is all I want to do. I don't have to sign out gyne. I don't have to sign out breast. I don't ever have to touch soft tissue again, unless of course it's a soft tissue lesion of the GI tract, which I feel relatively comfortable with. But I have a lower salary than average, much lower salary than average, because I am subspecialized, I am AP only, and I am practicing in academics. And to tell you the truth, if I was not practicing academics, if I was to practice in private practice, my starting salary would have been on average the national average salary for pathologists. And I give that all up because I love teaching residents, I love teaching med students, I love just teaching in general, I guess, and I want to just practice GI. And that is exactly what I get in an academic institution. That is out there, and I don't know if it was in my contract not to share my salary, but I don't think it was, so I'm sharing it with you guys. Now, the breakdown of my clinical duties. My title in full is basically a clinical assistant professor. What that means is I am more clinically oriented. In the academic institution, the ranking is assistant professor, associate professor, professor, and then I guess past professor, you're professor emeritus, basically you're retired. But as an assistant professor, I am of the lowest tier, and I am the brand new baby. I am the lowest of the lowest tier of assistant professor we could get. Am I expecting that this is my salary for the rest of my life? Hells no. My salary in theory should increase every year by a little bit, say probably like 3-ish% just to adjust for inflation. And my salary will also increase the more titles I earn. For example, as my goal wants to be to become a program director. When I become a program director, because I got an extra title, I will get paid more. Like I said, my starting salary it's a little low, but that's not the salary I will have. It will always go up, and with every title increase, it will also go up. Now, when I get promoted from assistant to associate professor, I will get a bigger significant pay bump. I think I hear the pay bump is 10 to 15%. So, that's more. And then if I somehow manage to do enough research, do enough teaching, become famous enough to become a professor level, then I will get another pay bump. So, like I said, my salary is starting out, I expect to go higher, and it should. So now let's go back to my breakdown of clinical duties. My breakdown is 70, 10, and 10. What that means is signing out cases with residents, that is 70% of my year. So if you broke up the year into the weeks, 70% of those weeks I will be on a clinical service. So that means I'll be signing up biopsies, I'll be signing up bigs, I could be signing up consults, I can be doing frozens, call, blah, 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 so on and so forth. All of my clinical responsibility, I do that 70% of the time. Now, the other 10% and 10% I was mentioning, of course, and the missing 10% I haven't quite yet said is 10% goes to research. So 10% of my year is dedicated to research time for me. So these are times where I do not have clinical duties and I could dedicate these weeks specifically to research activities. Another 10% is dedicated to education. And this is dedicated for me to, say, teach medical students, write lectures, or to do any educational related activity. And then this unspoken 10%, which is not quite that technically 10%, it is my paid time off. So basically it's my vacation time, and that comes out to be about a little over 5 weeks. I think this is a great thing that Stanford offers me, and I don't think this is true for all other institutions. So don't quote me on this when you are starting out as wherever you're starting out at. But this might be a good thing, really good thing to ask. What does your breakdown of your time mean? So when I am 70% on service, I am on service. When I am 10% doing education or 10% doing my research, the weeks I'm doing that, I am not on service. I don't have call, I don't have frozens, I don't have to sign out with residents. Those weeks are dedicated purely to whatever I want to do my research on, whatever I want to do to write my medical school lectures, to do, say, YouTube, because this is a part of my teaching. So that is how my weeks are broken down. And from what I hear, this is not a common practice. A lot of time they give you, oh, you're 70% clinical, where they give you like, you do a day on clinical, day off clinical, day on clinical, day off, and somehow that all average out to be about 70 and 20%, and then of course you have your vacations. That doesn't work well, because even now, even though I'm only 70% on clinical, during the weeks that I am not on clinical duty, as a pathologist, your cases do not just end. It's like, all right, it's Friday, my cases, whatever, I don't take care of it, the rest gets taken care of by someone else. It doesn't work like that. The cases I get Friday, I still need to sign out. The cases that needs more IHCs, need levels, need to go back to the bucket for more growth, that carries with me into my following week. If that following week is a clinical week, great. I get to spend my designated clinical time doing that time, doing all the follow-up stuff. If the next following week is my off-service week, my clinical duty that is overflows into the following week, I still have to do. So even though it's 70% clinical, I probably spend 80% doing clinical work. All right, when I am on clinical duties, I am in charge of signing out biopsies. I could be doing GI bigs, or I could be doing GI consults, but most of the time I am on GI biopsies. I get my biopsies, and in the mornings, I sign out with my resident. My resident will go and write up the cases, and then they'll send me my case in the afternoon, and I spend the afternoon signing cases out. And then of course, there'll be the stuff that I take on my own, the cases that I need to order additional stains, even though after I sit with my resident, I think about it as like, oh yeah, I should order more things. This needs more of a workup. So that gets ordered. When I'm on service, I also do frozens. Here we do frozens for 2-hour time blocks multiple times a week. And then of course, I also take call, but because Stanford, we have so much AP faculty, I only take about 2 to 3 times a month. Now, when I say I'm on call twice a month, do I get called in? Most of the time, so far, no. I've been on call maybe 5 days now, and I've only had to gone in for a late frozen once. The other days, nothing happened, and I didn't have to go in. And I'm not on call by myself. As an attending, I get a fellow. Every night of call, there's a fellow assigned, and the fellow are the ones who are in charge of answering the phone. If there's a frozen, they're the one manning it. If there is a cytology, FNA adequacy that needs to be done late, the fellows take care of it. I don't even have to take care of it. If someone has a question about how to submit a specimen and they want to ask the on-call person, the fellow mans it. So I, as attending, really only have to show up for frozens, and I basically tell my fellows like, hey, when you get a frozen, let me know and I'll meet you there and we'll read it together. Of course, as faculty, I do get a home workstation. So if I want to, I can read my frozens over Modic, I basically VPN into the hospital network, and they have a digital scanner for Frozens. And I could do it that way, but as a fresh young attending, I don't want to do it that way. And other things I do, of course, I also do tumor boards. I covered this in my GI fellowship video. In GI, we have 5 tumor boards. It's a lot. So every week I cover 2 tumor boards. And of course, every tumor board I have a fellow. Even though I'm not the one actively presenting the case, we give that responsibility to the fellows. I'm there to answer the hard questions. And also, if the fellows can't present something well, I'm there as backup. And then so I do that. That is basically hour long. Of course, there's also, oh my gosh. I'm basically listing off things that attendings now do that you don't see as a resident because you only sit with the attending for 2 hours. You're like, okay, that's 2 hours of attending's day. That, man, attending's life must be so easy. What do they do when they're not with me? So this is all the things attendings do. So in addition to that, of course, we have faculty meetings, we have committee meetings, we also have med school teaching. So, we each as faculty, some faculty don't. I personally have 2 lectures to give, so I need to prepare and give these lectures. And I think that's really about most of the stuff I do. There's probably more stuff I do that it's just so minute and whatever that can't even think about right now. But yeah, that's all the stuff I do in a week when I'm on clinicals. It's a lot and it's quite busy and quite hectic. And when I'm on clinicals a couple weeks in a row, oof, it gets rough. But hey, it's my 3rd month in, and I have not ever in any of these days woken up and be like, oh no, I don't want to go in. I wish I could just stay home. I like what I do and I enjoy what I do, and I'm happily going into work every day. I think this video is getting a little long, so I think I'll stop here and I will pick this up as part 2. Please, if you like my content and you want to know more about anything I have to share, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see everyone next time. Bye.